Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of the Setlist of Life with the current bandmates of Dolly for Sue. Tonight we have with us Aaron on guitar.
Hello, hello.
Christine on the drums.
Hi.
Kirsten on the keyboard.
Hello.
And I'm Leslie, your vocalist for this evening. I have to say, before I get into our song, we've been pretty good about being here lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have been.
I say
on a
that,
run.
and I probably won't be here next week, but we've
serious?
had a good run.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
I'm
serious.
Yeah.
I won't be here the week after for Joey's graduation.
Because you're going to Iowa.
So we had a good
Right.
run. We had,
And then I have Joey's graduation, and then it's, is that me?
I don't know. Who's talking? Whose phone's talking?
Okay. So, yeah, okay.
We've had a pretty good run as of late.
It has been.
I'll take it.
Tonight, our song is Amnesia by 5 Seconds of Summer because we're going to play.
Is that a one-hit wonder?
No, 5 Seconds of Summer. They had a lot of stuff.
They're awesome, Kirsten.
I don't
5
know.
SOS. Chris has actually been to a concert with me.
Really?
That's
I don't know what he went.
Were they a 2000s band?
They were,
Oh,
I
I
don't
can
know.
tell you when Amnesia came out because it's in my little playlist.
Oh,
Go ahead.
really?
Talk amongst yourself. and I'll
Because
tell you.
I just remember, it was one of those things like Ava was 11 or 12 and Chris took her and her friends to see 5 Seconds of Summer because they were sort of a teeny bopperish.
Yes,
That's
they were.
why I don't know them.
Yeah, that's why I
Oh,
don't know
it's
them.
playing.
Oh, now it's playing.
Sorry, hold on. Didn't mean for that to happen. I'm just trying to find
What
out when the
was
dang song came
Their
out.
hit.
Amnesia.
They had a bunch. Actually,
they
they
had
had a
others,
bunch.
yeah.
They actually aren't bad.
Stop playing. Oh my God, I can't work my phone.
Wait, we're supposed to have a text.
2014.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so there you go. Okay.
Okay.
Let me look up 5 Seconds of Summer and because I can't off the top of my head remember, but I do remember they're very boppy and
I don't think my kids are into
Enjoyable.
that, and that's probably why
well,
I
no,
don't know.
because they aren't girls.
They're like a boys
okay.
band.
Yeah, boy band.
Okay.
All good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
5 Seconds of Summer. Let's see.
Similar
All
similar
songs.
to what the hell was the name of that?
Backstreet Boys?
Another 5.
No, One Direction.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just calling it Five
very
Directions.
similar to One Direction.
Okay. Okay.
But they did
No instruments.
Young Blood and they did
Young Blood. That was the one we
Yes.
play at school.
Yes. So you've heard their songs. You
Yes.
just don't know why.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I really
I'm sure I
don't know
was
why.
asking myself that quite
Right.
often.
You're like, who are these people?
why?
You don't have any kids that are the right age.
No,
Yes.
that's fine. I was exposed to it quite a bit, obviously, through
Yes.
my work.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
all good.
What was, and this might just be a throw out question that nobody has the answer to. What was there was a band they made to be kind of like the Monkees, same kind of time frame, early 2000s. They had a TV show.
They did.
I don't know about
They had a
that.
TV show and it was like the Monkees.
They were revamping the Monkees.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were trying to revamp it. It didn't really.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
gotta look that up. Oh,
they-
TV show on what channel?
Oh, it was probably like Nickelodeon or something like that. I don't even know.
Okay.
But they put together this boy band and then they would have this sort of pretend they would be filming them like it was a reality show, but it was campy, so you knew it wasn't reality.
Oh, okay.
And then it was just like the Monkees, like how they would just film the Monkees doing stupid stuff.
Sure.
And then they'd end up singing a song.
That worked back in 1960s.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I watched. I
Well, the
loved
Monkees,
the Monkees.
and the Monkees were good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And they were entertaining.
I don't know about so much today.
Yeah.
And then they tried it again and it didn't really take off, but I can't think of the name of the band. It'll come to me and then I'll just shout it out in the middle of
in the
another
middle of-
conversation.
yeah. That's the way. That's usually how it works.
Okay.
So while Christine
I
tries
can't
to look
find
it
it.
up, she can't find it.
all. I'm coming up.
It'll come to me and then I'll shout it out.
Okay.
Anyway,
So,
right.
what are we doing?
so we're gonna set up.
We don't know.
Okay.
So we're wasting time.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we have
Left
two
field,
things.
people.
We
No,
have
we're gonna set up. Another
Brandon.
game.
okay.
Brandon
Another game. Okay. Another game. Setting up another game.
throwing stuff.
Yeah,
Aaron,
I'm just going to start seeing what catches.
see what someone jumps on. No, well, let's at least set up our next game.
Okay.
Because
Yes.
this is going to take some time for all of us and maybe audience participation.
Yeah, if you
right,
would
we'd
like to
love
follow
that.
along at home and let us know your
let us know your
Picks, thoughts, whatever.
About, well, let me
doing-
explain about what. You guys are like, let's just talk
I'm
to
just
us.
as confused as you all are listening.
Okay, so after our last show, we talked about how interesting it would be to go back to one-hit wonders and see if they actually had an album worth revisiting. Like if they got a little shortchanged.
right. If they had a bad rap,
Right. Or, they had one
and
song.
appreciated for their time.
And so we kind of chit-chatted about it a little bit. Aaron did a great
ChatGPT.
Chat GPT list, which
Way
kind
to
of kicked
give
us
credit.
off.
Nice citation.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Yes.
Gotta
And
give credit where it's due.
yeah, and so by decade too.
Mm-hmm.
So we all decided to choose a decade.
Okay.
And Aaron missed the conversation about choosing the decade.
But
'cause-
he started it.
No.
But then
So-
he didn't do it.
The reason that I go is because we had two different discussions going on. One was one-hit wonders, and which is what we're concentrating on this evening.
yes.
And going decade by decade and picking a couple of one-hit wonders from each decade by each of us.
Right.
The other thing that was being discussed was revisiting the game that we did last week in picking the best of and
right.
doing that. But
Yeah, I missed that conversation.
What side conversation were we having at that time? Something.
No, but I missed that conversation.
I'll have to I'll give you a timestamp. We were talking about revisiting the same game, but
Yeah.
because we were saddened that some bands missed out.
Right.
Peter
Oh,
Gabriel,
bringing
all
more
that-
into
yeah,
it.
bringing more
Redoing
into it,
it.
redoing it. That was the discussion
okay.
that we
Oh,
had.
okay.
I didn't know that we
thought
had
you meant we
solidified
had an
that.
extended discussion on our.
No.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
good.
No.
Because I was going to say, I totally missed that.
That's what
I
I
need
was
more
referring
sleep.
to. And then the idea was, okay, then we can go to each decade and do the same thing,
Right,
blah, blah,
right,
blah,
right,
blah.
right.
But what I was going to say is that the way that I think about music is not so much decade by decade.
More like genre?
Nope.
No? How do you think?
How do you think? Yeah.
I break it down into half decades and even sometimes
Time
not.
periods in your life.
No. So
That's
like
what I do.
No.
19
Shut up.
So, no. So like 1960, the early 60s to mid 60s, 67, 68 was an old rock and roll sound. It was very distinct.
Right.
Then you get to psychedelic 68 to 72-ish rock and roll. That was Magical Mystery Tour. It started to morph. Kind of. That was the very hippie acid type of music that came out of that area.
The drug period.
Yes. And then from that, you got into rock and roll, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Jimi Hendrix, America, all of those bands started coming out of that time from early 70s to about 76, 77, somewhere around there. Then you had like disco happen. And then you had,
You kind of had the precursor to punk at the very end of the 70s.
Yes, absolutely.
Because one of my 70s, my one-hit wonders is, can I say?
No, not yet. Yeah.
Okay.
So it
jumping
morphed,
the gun.
and then it
I'm
got
so
into
excited.
the 80s, which was like new wave, happened at new wave. Then you get into like hair metal. Then you get into alternate
missing
music.
pop.
Pop runs kind of through the whole thing,
Yes.
though. Pop is always there, whether it's the
Yeah, I
Beatles
guess so.
or
It's just a different kind of pop.
Michael Jackson. It's pop. Pop has always been there. But in terms of like how music changed and where different genres came in, again, new wave didn't happen anywhere except for the early 80s.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Hair bands came
Yeah.
mid 80s.
Well, there's
Late
also like
80s
the
was
late 70s, early to mid 80s, early 80s funk. That was,
Yes.
yeah,
funk-
that was
yes,
a big,
absolute. Motown happened in the late
Yeah.
70s. So there's all these things that started to happen, not so much within a 10-year span, but more like within a 5-year span.
I gotcha.
And sometimes it was even like I said, like alternative. That happened after,
90s.
yeah, that was like
Early 90s.
before grunge,
Right.
after hair metal.
Right.
yeah, right.
Like 1992 is when all of a sudden alternative was gone and grunge was here. It was
Right,
like,
right.
whoa, what just happened?
Especially for especially for us that were born in like 1970 era, we were sort of like when grunge came. Exactly, because we were full on at least I was, into the alternative. And then
Counting
Yeah.
grunge
Crows
showed up and I'm like, who are these people?
That's what I thought. I'm like,
Well,
what's
because
up
we
with
were
these people
also
in their flannel
graduating
shirts?
college
Yeah.
and
I mean, I
trying
like
to
it
be
now.
adults and
Right.
Yeah.
it changed. So that's why I say
Yeah.
that. I would love to be able to say, okay, let's take that concept that we did last week, but let's break it down into
that's a
either
great
genre
idea.
or couple
Like
years.
era.
and-
Yeah.
Aaron, take those reins. you are all over
I think
it.
genres,
No.
genre is the way to do that.
Yeah, like-
Because, as you're naming all these, I'm like, yeah, but I never listened to that music. So like there was other things going on during that time that I was listening to when you were listening to. So genres would be.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Let's do it. Okay,
Yeah,
so
because,
one hit
because
wonders.
they're
though.
so
I was just
different.
Yes,
yeah, like
yes.
sometimes there's definitely, when you think of that whole decade, I'm like, these are totally different vibes.
Yeah.
And, great in their own right.
Yeah.
But
That was just where, as I was editing through the episode again, I was like,
Yeah, how
Thinking
do we
about
do,
it?
Right. How do we do this?
how do we go
Yeah.
forward? And then obviously tonight is one hit wonders.
One hit wonders. Well, we're not going to play tonight. We're
No,
just going to
no,
set it up
yes,
tonight.
no. So,
Because this is going to take some effort.
It was hard, first of all, to come up with a list of viable candidates,
Right.
and then to actually go through that list, because a lot of them I'd never even heard of.
Well, and a lot of them, there were, I listened to at least 20 different artists in this process this week. And there are also probably 20 that I refused to listen to because I didn't like that one hit wonder when it came out. And I can't imagine having to listen to a whole album of that awful song.
Okay.
there were a couple
well,
of
I
songs.
would like to
There
hear
were
about
songs
that.
that I chose, and I started listening to the album, and I was like, I can't do that to you guys because I can't even get
Well,
through this.
that happened to quite a
Yeah,
bit. Well,
yeah.
some of them I found interesting because the hit didn't sound like anything else on the rest of the album.
Right.
Right. That was
And you're sort
definitely-
of like, oh, well, they threw that song at you to get this album out there and you didn't follow up.
Well, as I was reading more and more, it's the label.
Yeah.
It's-
Absolutely.
it's-
You
we're
could-
writing this song for you, and you're going to play it.
Exactly. You could tell which the songs
Right,
were
and
the
there-
So there's
yeah.
on this list where I
and
can't
there was
wait
a
to get it. This
commercial
is gonna be
hit,
fun.
and it wasn't their
I'm
style.
interested to
Yeah.
hear that you didn't, because I knew almost all the songs on here, and I'm usually the one who doesn't know stuff.
Aaron's like,
And
What?
you just said you didn't know some of these songs?
No. We'll get there. Hold on.
Well, because we started
This rabbit hole goes
very deep.
It does go deep.
way down.
So as we said, so Aaron came up with a quick chat GPT list,
Yep, just
and that
a-
got
What?
us.
But there's 2 lists on there.
Maybe, sure.
Yeah,
okay.
well, there's probably probably
I
what
have like
20 songs.
19 more lists.
Okay.
Oh, really?
right, but it was a good
okay.
jumping point.
Because I was like, because I was like, okay, well, these are just one hit wonders that is in a very small list. There's a whole heck
lot
of a
more.
lot.
Yeah,
right.
But it was a
So
good
it's
jumping
definitely
point
Yeah,
to get
absolutely.
that.
Just get the juices
flowing.
Absolutely. Yes, right.
Wonder Twin, thanks.
I know, right?
So there was
creepy.
a text that went out that my face is here. Thank you.
It was denying you. You couldn't find your face, Aaron. Let me see you,
What
Aaron.
am I looking at here?
I don't know what you're looking at. Oh, the list
Okay,
that
here we
went
go.
out.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so there was a text that went out. It said, Kirsten,
Yes.
you get the 70s.
Yes.
Christine, you get the 80s.
Uh-huh.
Leslie, you get the 90s.
I
And
do.
Aaron gets today.
And
Aaron got the
Aaron
aughts.
Aaron got the aughts, and I was like, no.
No, Aaron said no.
Puke emoji
Yeah.
is what I wrote.
That's not his era.
So I went to the 60s.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
That's
Perfect.
fine.
Okay, better.
Yep.
That works.
All right.
Yes. So I'm interesting. So I know we're not completely ready for everything tonight, but having started this process, one of the things I was very interested to find was there's a lot of very average music out there. Now, okay. Now I'm also, I've never written a song, so I'm
Right.
You're right. So
So we said that with respect.
I say it with respect.
Right.
But there's a lot of very average music. It just brought home the point on how hard it is to write a really good song, like an earworm song.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
right?
that's some of this music that I listen to, like these artists, it wasn't, some of it, I mean, they were actually talented, but there wasn't a hook. There wasn't an earworm. There wasn't, and there were some of them that I was like, okay, that's not bad, but I'm just getting bored here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Or
Yeah.
like every song was sort of
the same.
and
Yeah.
you're like, okay, I got it the first
So
three times.
there's something that's really interesting to me to find out as we go through this process. How are we going to, so as we choose these songs, or
Yes.
these artists, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
Are we going to listen to
More than one album? No.
No.
Okay, so
we
we're going to
one
choose
album
one album per
decade.
And then not even so much album, one artist per.
artist.
And we can listen through that discography of that artist.
Well, I don't know if we need to, well, we
Or should
could.
we only listen to the album that one hit wonder
Or
was
choose
on?
an album.
That's what I did. I listened to the album that the hit was on.
That's what I did too.
Because for
And-
most people, that was their breakthrough album because of the hit. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay, that's not how I did it. All right.
But that,
Yeah. No,
but we
that's, I
can-
did it like you did too. But
So the album okay.
So I listened to more in the little bit of homework that I did, only because I know that there are, okay, as we all know that I'm a huge Corey Hart fan, but my favorite Corey Hart album is an album that like nobody has listened to except me.
Right.
So like, I think there's also personal taste in all of this. And
But
Oh, yeah.
But I will say this was the setup week, so I think we can going forward
Okay.
listen to more than one album. But I think to get to like I said, I went through at least 20 different one hit wonders, right? So I went through 20 different one hit wonders, listened to the one hit and try to decide, okay, which of these songs would I like to listen?
If I could imagine the rest of the album,
Right.
would I want to listen to the rest of it if it followed the same kind of tone and character and whatnot like that?
Exactly.
Which is how I did it as well.
Right. And then those that was my short list. And then I went to that album that the hit was on and listened to that album
Wow.
and was like, okay, I like Kirsten said, like, I can't torture you guys with, with this album, or, wow, this is kind of interesting. I think I would, I'm not saying that the album was their greatest album, but at least musically it intrigued me. So that's when that gave me a shorter list, right?
right.
So my process was ChatGPT,
Okay.
and I made ChatGPT make, I'm going to at least say, let's say 7 lists of 15 or 25, I can't remember, of those artists. And then I would copy paste them into Spotify and I would listen to the first 30 seconds of it. If I knew the song, I would fast forward just to kind of remind myself of the progression and whatnot like that. But I was more interested in the ones that I didn't recognize. So those were the ones where like,
Oh, okay.
I don't know if this deserves a one-hit wonder or if it deserves more. Because the ones that I already know, I already know them.
Right.
So it was kind of like, okay, I pretty much know what this artist sounds like. But to me, the other ones that were interesting were the ones I'd never heard of.
Yeah.
okay.
So that's not to say once we come
down
to our list that you can't, no one's stopping you from listening to every album these guys. But
No,
that's,
I ain't got time for that.
That's on you.
That's why I was like 30 seconds, 30 home, we're done.
Right.
'Cause I
Okay.
don't have
But
time.
so that's why, I think when we come to our initial lists from each of us. So we talked about just picking 3,
Oh.
but we might need some help coming to that 3.
I would like, because I have a few.
Yeah.
And I would like your input without hearing the whole album. And some of them I've listened to the whole album. A couple of them are recent ads and I haven't.
Right.
But, and there's one that I didn't really like the album, but I found some really interesting things about the band. And I thought, that was kind of cool. Yeah.
But so I think once everybody establishes their 3,
Okay.
we are free to explore those
Do it how we
bands
like.
however you like.
Oh, that's
because
a great idea.
everybody
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait.
everybody, listens to music differently and experience it, right? So I think once we come up with the list, you're free to explore them as you wish, and then come back to the table, because that'll be actually more interesting to hear, because clearly Kirsten wants to know more about the band themselves, so she might have some tidbits.
Okay.
Her bits and
I
tids. She's going to have bits and tids about the band. And, so I think
I've
that'll
been
make it
working
more.
on
So
them.
I think that those rules can be fluid.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I got an hour, 15-minute drive in and an hour, 15-minute drive out.
Oh, right.
So
You
I
have
got
all
time.
the time.
I
Yeah.
got-
Oh, that's right.
Time to listen.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So
I've got 14 hours to Des Moines. So
okay.
Yeehaw.
So as
Lucky girl.
Annie Lennox would say,
You could do all the decades.
Exactly.
where do
Yes.
we go from here?
okay.
She was
well,
not a one-hit wonder. Although I was not a huge fan of hers.
Oh, I love her voice.
Very unique.
Yeah. I always liked her.
just shocked myself. So let's do this. Let's go by decade.
Okay. So Aaron's first.
So are you ready, Aaron? Or are you not ready? Because if you're not ready,
Well, I'm ready.
Or at least share what you got.
He's
and
got a sticky note.
It's a starting
I do.
spot.
and share what you have, and we'll see if we can carve it down to
Yeah.
3.
Don't know. This is going to be too confusing.
But if you're not ready, we can skip your decade. No?
I did. I wrote a bunch of stuff down. I have at least 4.
Okay.
Oh,
what you
okay.
got? Do we know them?
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
Kirsten knows everything.
Okay, so the first band is Spirit, and the song is called I know. That's
No.
something else. This is my chicken scratch, but it is Spirit. The first band is
called
Spirit.
Spirit.
What's
And
the song?
I'll give you the just
Okay.
write down Spirit, and, and I'll tell you
Song-
what the
I
hit
wanna know
was.
the song.
The one hit wonder was. I'll tell you.
And what album
Yes.
it was on?
So that would be the first band.
Okay.
The second band is the Lemon Pipers.
The Lemon Pipers.
never heard of
This is
that.
going to be interesting
So
coming from the
hungry.
60s, because the Lemon Pipers.
Oh,
Lemon
jeez.
Pipers.
I don't know that I can read my own writing.
That happens to me.
I don't know what that word is. I'll come back to that.
Okay.
The Pretty Things.
I like the name of
Pretty
that.
Things is the name of the song?
This is
the
the name of the
band.
band.
We could have been that.
I'll come back with all the
That
names.
should
of
have
the
been
bands, I
us.
think.
That
That's
should have
right.
been us.
The Pretty Things.
Yes.
I haven't heard of
And
any
the
of these.
last one is, this is the one that I'm really interested in.
Okay.
Tin House.
Tin House. I have not heard of
House.
any of these
Me
bands.
neither.
So this will
Are
be
these-
interesting.
Are they late 60s, early 60s?
I tried to concentrate on late 60s.
Okay.
Because early 60s is a lot of every day it's a airing faster than a roller coaster.
That's pretty good.
I mean, it's great music, but it's all kind of
Kind of
like
the same.
early 60s,
Right.
kind of got this poppy.
Kind of
Yeah.
use some of that
It's
right
like,
now.
okay.
Doo-woppy.
Yeah.
Not very angsty.
So over the Memorial Day weekend, I was in the car on Sunday driving to and from a soccer tournament, and I always just kind of mess with the dial on drives, and the Beatles channel was doing the top 100 Beatles songs as per their listeners,
Right.
and I would just put to Aaron's point earlier, it kind of blew me away, and I knew this, but to be just sitting and listening to nothing but the Beatles, of how much they evolved in such a short period of time is kind of
5 years.
staggering. Yeah.
That's the entire time that the Beatles were around, were 5 years.
That's crazy. Cause it's like Love Me Do. And then the,
Magical
She's So
Mystery
Heavy.
Tour,
Like
just
it's like
everything.
so
They,
different.
From where they started to where they got to is just like, holy cow.
Yeah. That was a dramatic example of
Change
your
music
point.
forever.
Yeah. Very cool.
How about we move on?
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry, I don't have
I'll
any
figure-
comments
I'll
on
figure
your
it- I'll
songs,
figure out
Aaron,
this.
but we'll listen to them
Yeah.
because that's good to know.
Well, once we figure out what the songs were.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
That's okay.
I have the 70s.
Right.
And this is my short list. The first one, I had a question. Should this be a one-hit wonder? Blinded by the Light by Manfred Mann.
Such a good song.
Such a good song. But it was written by Springsteen. And I went back and listened to the Springsteen version and I didn't like it.
Oh.
Sounds it's very stripped down.
Springsteen didn't have a hit with it, so
No,
I would say Manfred Mann. Go ahead.
Yeah, and they did. I mean, and that song is just got so much going on.
Okay, so Blinded by the Light was the song that drew you in.
Yes, Manfred Mann, Earth Band.
And you're saying you listened to the rest of this, like some more of that album, and you were like, okay, interesting.
Well,
We'll discuss that next time.
We'll discuss that. That's the part next week. So we're just going songs here.
May I borrow your pen?
Oh yes, you may. My other one was.
Why did you whisper that like a serial killer?
You may never know.
Hooked on a Feeling by Blue Swede. Ooga Chaka.
Yeah,
Ooga Chaka.
I know the
I
song.
think that kind of has a catchy chorus.
I didn't realize that was a one-hit wonder. I figured that belonged to somebody like Gary Puckett in the Union Gap or something. So
No,
Cool
Blue
to know.
Swede. Do you know anything else from Blue Swede?
No.
Because
No,
I
don't.
I don't. Let's see. Me and You and a Dog Named Boo by
that's very
Lobo.
you. I could totally see that.
And because I feel like that's just kind of classic.
Who
70s.
sang that?
Lobo.
Oh, Lobo. That's right. I actually did know that. That's
You did know
weird.
that.
Why would I know that?
Why would you know that?
I don't know.
I didn't know that. Brandy by Looking Glass.
Brandy.
Your very classic yacht rock.
What a fine girl you
And
are.
yes. And then I had, for Christine, I added Chevy Van by Sammy Johns. 'Cause
You don't
she-
have to add it, but
Well,
that just makes me happy.
That wasn't on my list until you, and the last one, and this was, oh no, not the last one. Come and Get Your Love by Redbone. And the last one is the later part of the decade, kind of transitioned into the 80s, I think, was My Sharona by the Knack.
Oh.
I actually had that album.
That's their only hit. Interesting.
So
Actually, it said one hit wonder on the list, but they also did Good Girls Don't, But I Do,
I don't know that.
oh, yeah.
which was a lesser hit.
So I found that though. I found that as well. A lot of these one hit wonders had a second song that you've heard,
Right, it just
but
wasn't
it
as
wasn't as big, right? So I
when I-
still think that's considered a one hit wonder.
Yeah, and when I listened to their version of Good Girls, I was like, did somebody else cover that? I think that song was just covered a lot in bands when I was in college.
Oh, gotcha.
I might have sang with them.
So of those songs and groups, are there any that you're interested in
So-
listening to more?
So I'll give you my top 3, and some of them I've listened to. The ones I would want to listen to more, but would be Blinded by the Light, Manfred Mann.
I would agree.
Curious to see what else they did because they were very creative, very talented. Come and Get Your Love by Redbone.
Nice.
Okay.
And my heart loves My Sharona because
Dude, those are the 3 I would have picked.
yeah,
Oh, I might have picked Hooked on a Feeling.
the Hooked on the Feeling was the other one, and the reason that is sort of edged out a little bit is because I just have no idea what else they did.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I kind of have a feel for the Knack, and I know I like them, and I'm pretty sure I did have that album, as a child. So,
All right.
all right.
So we'll get back. We'll come back to all this.
Okay,
We're just
yeah.
introducing things
Yes,
right
and
now.
then-
Right?
Good. And you
Up
just need
for
to send
food
out
for
these
thought,
lists
for
to us,
discussion.
So I actually,
I'm still looking.
Okay, take your time.
I got 2, and I added another one. I forgot about one.
Oh, okay.
so
Oh, okay.
I actually did that process that you just went through, and then picked like 5 to actually listen to the whole album.
Oh,
So I've
okay.
actually got it down to 3 that I think you guys should listen to.
Okay.
But let me go through like everything that I listened to because I had.
Are we skipping the 80s?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you weren't ready. You ready?
I'm ready. I just
Oh, okay.
Go, Christine, go.
I'm a song.
We need to go in order.
Because she said, well, I didn't really. So we're going to do the 80s. My bad.
The only thing is I don't know the names of the albums.
Okay.
But I can look that up when
can
you're
look
doing
that up
yours. So the first one is Melt With You. Modern English.
Oh, that's a good
song.
one.
Modern. Is that the only hit they had?
I think so. They
so.
were listed on the
Wow.
list of one-hit
See,
wonders when
and
I was
that's
searching
something-
one-hit wonders.
I would actually want to hear the rest of that album.
Yeah, that's, of course, all these songs are all about a boy, but that song was about a boy. Too Shy, Kajagoogoo.
Oh, good one.
Only because I have
Shush.
more than one of theirs. And I loved them, and I thought Lamal was hot as anything. And looking back now, I must have been crazy.
It's funny how that happens.
It is weird how that happens.
Gosh.
I used to think Ralph Macchio was hot, and then I'm
He
like,
was.
what?
He
but
was.
Ralph.
Well, anyway.
Go ahead.
Long story, but he's from Long Island. But anyhow, I thought he was hot too.
Okay.
And then Iran, Flock of Seagulls.
Oh, good one.
Oh yeah.
There was on a list that because I was looking at a few different lists. They also had Take On Me by Aha.
I feel like Aha did
But they
something
had
else.
more than that.
Yeah.
Because I
more.
have like 3 of their albums.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
So
they
I'm
had
taking
more.
them out.
That was maybe the biggest, but yeah, I agree.
That happened to me too on my list. Like some of them they said were one hit wonders, and I was like, no, they're not.
Yeah.
Like they had a bunch of stuff.
I don't know that Aha had a bunch, but I think they had more than just
yeah,
that.
I think they did too.
They? What's another one of their hits?
I'll pull out their albums. I have their
she
albums.
had their albums, so she could.
I mean, they
But I
had
don't know
albums.
if any of them. Hold
I don't know,
on.
but they had hits.
Hold on. Well, let's look them up then. Songs. And if not, then I'm going to do them because The Sun Always Shines on TV.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Never mind then. Okay, that
Now it's coming back to you.
that was a great song. I loved that
The
song.
Living Daylights, which was from the James Bond movie.
Nope.
Oh, well, that was a big one. So, yeah, they did have more. Okay.
Okay.
All righty.
Okay, so
Do you want me to look up I'll look up the names
Well,
of the
I'm-
albums while you're doing your work.
you get. Well, I saw that the Modern English album is called After the Snow.
Okay. I might actually not even have to look it up here because I might have it on Aaron's list.
Okay,
But
but you can look up the other ones
hold
while
on.
I chit chat.
So how you guys do it at home? Yeah. How'd that thing go? Did you get that thing
But are
done?
those- are
okay,
those-
that's good. Excellent.
So
Are
those are mine.
Those are your 3. Okay.
Yes, because I've
Those are all
listened
good.
to
Those are
I've
really good
listened to
ones.
the last 2 albums. I don't for some reason. I mean, I loved that Modern English song, but I
Same.
never
I don't
ever
know
listened
why
to the
I've
album.
I didn't even realize that was their only song.
Yeah.
I will say on another list was Major Tom.
Oh, that's a good
That was
song.
on one of the lists that you gave, and I would have happily done that too. But anyway, Flock of Seagulls, Iran was A Flock of Seagulls.
Easy peasy.
And what was the other one that I said?
You said.
No, what I said, Kajagoogoo, Too Shy.
Yeah, too shy.
You know, just one thing from the 80s that I think we discussed this before, and it's not in the league with these songs, but I'm curious to see what else she did was Tony Basil.
Yeah, that's
Mickey.
on that list. White Feathers. I just couldn't listen to more of her than
Really?
that. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I had a few.
Was
of those.
everything else like that?
like Chumbawamba?
Yeah.
There was no reason. There was
Yeah.
no more tub thumping for me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It was fine. It just wasn't my.
Same thing with like Brandy. I listened to Looking Glass, and it wasn't that it was bad. It was just kind of.
Not for
It
you.
was just kind of jazzy without really a hook, and I got bored.
Bored.
Yeah. So yeah.
Did you say what album?
White Feathers.
White Feathers. All right.
Which
White
I would
Feathers
not
was
have
who?
ever been able to tell you. Kajagoogoo.
Oh, okay.
Just read a thing about
I like
how sick
Kajagoogoo.
birds land on the ground for ants to crawl over them because they spread this like thing across the bird's feathers to kill all like the disease and fungus and all that kind of stuff. It was a really interesting article. It's very strange. Anyway,
White feathers.
White feathers. Okay, that's the transition. I was like,
I got the
wait,
link.
we were just talking about ants.
wow,
in the
you really
kitchen
leaned
before.
into that.
I did
Yeah.
because it reminded me of this article.
Feathers.
Okay.
The
White
Lemon
feathers.
Pipers
The Lemon,
Lemon
Pipers.
Pipers.
sing
about
a
the
song called "A Green Tambourine."
Oh, I know Green Tambourine.
I sure don't.
I think I've heard of
My
Green
green tambourine.
Oh, yeah.
Do,
Okay.
do, do.
No, we've discussed this. My parents listened to Barry Manilow, Neil Diamond, and Anne Murray. There is nothing else from the 60s and 70s that I ever got to listen to. Sometimes the Beatles, but that wasn't played by my parents. So go ahead.
Listen while I play.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I'll have to listen.
I like that song.
All right.
The Chamber Brothers.
The Chamber Brothers. That's the name of the band?
That is the name of the band.
Okay.
Time Has Come Today.
Bros.
By the album Time Has Come. And that's the one that they go, time. And they all shout, time.
Yeah, I know that. I know
don't know that one.
It's cool.
I like the title.
Yeah. The Pretty Things.
Yes.
What did the Pretty Things do?
Baron Saturday. Baron.
Oh, no.
Baron Saturday.
I mean, at least I don't know it by title.
The
never
album
heard of it.
is SF Sorrow.
I don't think you're saying that right.
SF Sorrow?
I believe that's SF Sorrow. I believe.
Okay.
Okay.
Tin House, off the album Tin House. Slipping and Sliding.
Slipping and sliding.
And the last one, Iron Butterfly.
Oh, is
Okay.
Inagata Davida?
Inagata Davida.
All right, we all know that
what
one.
was
You
the
gotta do
Spirit
that
one? No?
I'm sorry?
You said a band called
Oh, yeah,
Spirit?
Spirit. Yeah. Mentioned them in the beginning. Did I?
I Got a Line on You.
I Got a Line on You.
Wait, what's I Got a Line on You?
Yep, the band is Spirit.
Oh, Spirit is okay.
The song is I Got a Line on You.
They're both taking notes.
And
Look
the
at this.
album is The Family That Plays Together.
Okay.
Oh my.
All right. I don't know a lot of those.
You will if you hear them.
Okay. All right. I'm
No,
curious.
I don't think I would.
You,
I
you
just
might
know-
not.
I know-
You might not.
Time you may recognize. It's an old classic. Obviously the Green Tambourine.
Yeah, I know that
Inagata
one.
Davida.
That one I know.
Yeah.
The Baron Saturday. I don't remember if I recognized that one or not. But they're all
Okay.
good. And
All
you
right.
won't recognize the Tin House one because the Tin House one was a one-hit wonder, but there's a long story to it. And out of all of them, I was like, oh, this kind of sounds interesting. Because again, the 60s were
Yeah. Interesting time.
starting to come out of that whole formulaic song thing. but it was
Right. And then
still
they got very
much
experimental.
formulaic.
Yeah.
Right.
Formulaic. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So let me ask this question before I launch into mine. Do you think there's a decade where there were more one-hit wonders
Oh.
than
I think
others?
the 70s.
Because I would venture to guess in the 60s. See, I would venture to guess in the 60s and 70s that the labels put more effort into a group. It wasn't like release an album and we'll see if it sticks. I think they
No, they absolutely did. That was part of their contract. Bands would sign up usually for 3 to 4 albums,
right.
which meant that the label was in it. And it was very much the opposite of what they do now. Now they'll drop you after one album.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Right.
Versus back
Yeah.
then it was, because like the classic is Rush, right? Their first album was a hit. Second album was Their third album, I believe, was Crest the Steel, just flopped.
Right.
And most people would say, okay, we gave you 3 chances, you're done.
Right.
Fourth album was YYZ. Changed everything.
Gotcha. But so that's what I'm saying. Like earlier in music, I think they invested more.
Yeah.
And then I think by the 90s, there were so many one-hit wonders.
Yeah, you're right. You
That,
got a
like,
point. There
it
were.
was- my
and
list
now
was-
there's a lot. I mean, I feel like they're
Yeah.
more.
Well, but here's the other thing. People don't release albums anymore. They release singles.
because it's so much
Right.
easier now to just buy one song.
Right.
than-
But like,
Yeah.
I think in the 90s, there were so many bands that were just one hit one, just flash in the pan because
Right, yeah.
they were like, okay, we'll throw this album out. Nope, you don't work. See you later. There's somebody else standing at the door waiting to come in. You can,
I guess you have a point.
So I had a lot to sift through.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what'd you come up with?
Especially when the music industry changed around the mid 90s and everything went to shit.
Right.
And then that's when record labels are like, that's when Tower went down. That's when all of that changed and there was no money anymore.
Right.
You could go to the recording studio, but you compared to a couple million, you had maybe a couple 100,000 to spend in the studio.
Yeah.
And bands just had no time. It was a completely different model.
Yeah. So, I had
Someone hear your list.
So I had a lot to sift through. Well, again, like I said, there were a bunch that I just didn't even want to listen to, like the Divinals. Like when I think about you, I touch myself. I hated that song when it came out. I don't want to listen to a whole album of that song.
I agree.
Right? There was a lot of that.
Okay.
And then,
What do you think about Four Non-Blondes?
you know what? I didn't like them either. I didn't even
I liked
listen.
that.
I didn't
liked
even
them.
listen.
I liked them.
I liked them.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't listen to the rest of the same thing. I kind of was like, nope, I'm not even
Okay.
going to listen to that
I
one.
may even have that album.
Yeah,
I'll have
I
to
liked
look.
them.
But then there were groups like the Cardigans,
Oh, yeah.
and I thought, oh, this is going to be a great album. Oh no,
Oh, really?
No.
What was their
There's
song?
Linger?
No, that's Cranberries.
Oh,
it's the
Cardigans.
love me,
Okay.
say,
Oh.
you know. So
Cardigans, Cranberries.
Love Fool is the name of the song. Love Fool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so there were a couple I listened to, and I was like the Verve. I thought I was going to love.
And I have that album.
I thought I was going to love that album, and it just sort of
Didn't
went.
do it for you.
No,
No,
it was
it's
like you were
very,
saying.
it's very
Disappointing.
boring. I agree with that.
It
with
was
that album.
very
Yeah.
boring.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like the Looking Glass. They were talented, but I was just bored with it.
Yeah, it got so boring. So I sifted through quite a few,
Okay, so what you got?
and a couple of them, like Deep Blue Something, that Breakfast at Tiffany's song.
Tiffany's.
Oh, right.
I kept wanting to like it, and it wasn't terrible.
Yeah,
Just
kinda-
never-
It just
It was
there
a
was
little bit
just
cliche or something. I
right.
don't know.
It just didn't have
As
another
the kids would say, very mid.
right. It was
Yeah,
very good.
yeah,
That's perfect.
That's a perfect description. Yeah, it's not bad. It just
So are you giving your
just
thoughts
okay for
already?
me.
I thought we weren't doing our thoughts yet.
Well, no, I have a couple thoughts, but
Okay.
and then like, I'm just letting you know what I didn't pick.
Which you didn't pick.
well,
Okay,
okay.
fair. Fair,
Those
fair.
are
I'm
not
letting you know what I
picking.
didn't pick because
Okay.
I'm sure there's a lot of people listening that it was like I said, there were just so many.
Yeah, that's true.
And then they also had Blind Melon as a one-hit wonder, and I thought, but I thought they
Change is
had
such a good
They had 3 or 4 songs on the radio. Yeah, they did.
They did.
They had
They did. And Change is
they
their
had No
best.
Rain. They had Change. They had
Change, I don't
the
know change.
the tone. What was
They
the other
did
one? The
have,
tone.
Yeah, I feel like
They had a few.
They did have.
So I thought they were too popular to be considered as a
Right.
one-hit wonder. Because these are the ones that were popping up on the lists over and over again. Blind
Okay,
Melon.
right.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't know that there's anything on this list that actually was played besides that one and Change, but not too many people know Change.
Yeah. So anyway, so those were the ones
Blind
that.
Melon. I mean, the Bumblebee.
Yeah.
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 So exactly, I think that album was actually pretty popular, to
was
be
a
honest
good
with you.
album.
But
It was good.
so I didn't include. So I'm explaining why I didn't
fair,
include those ones in my list.
Okay.
Okay, that's why I didn't include those. So the ones I did include.
Spin Doctors.
No, I didn't include them.
I wouldn't want you to.
Yeah, because I
know.
no,
That's why I said that. That's why I said that.
no.
No.
Okay, so she had more than one song on the radio, but only one hit. It was Macy Gray,
Oh, yeah. I liked her.
and the album was On How Life Is.
Okay.
She's got a great voice.
Yeah, she does.
And that's interesting because
It's a different voice.
she has a very different voice, and I found that had pros and cons. Her very different voice, I enjoyed listening to over and over again. Crash Test Dummies. That guy's voice.
Okay.
I wanted to shoot myself after
I could see
3 songs.
Yeah.
I just
Definitely see that.
he's got a neat voice, but it was the same that
He dips his. Does he? At least in that song, he. like,
Yeah.
Slides.
he slides his voice
into it.
Well, he did that for every song.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's-
it was
a little goes a long way.
Yeah, a little. Yeah, like
Yeah.
It was the same thing
Once there was a kid.
So that was a
That's
negative.
the way I feel about the Pretenders, about Chrissy Hines' voices. I'm like, I can't do it.
That's very Bob Dylan of
Yeah,
you.
I know.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so Macy Gray on How Life Is, her hit was I Try.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of
song.
really good songs.
I'm gonna have to listen to that.
A choke.
Yeah.
Try to walk away and not stumble.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That was
Good
her
song.
hit. But the rest of
That's
the
a great
album,
tune.
the rest of the album's really good.
Okay.
I listened to the whole
Yeah, I
album.
would like to hear that.
I enjoyed that album.
I'm intrigued. Okay.
Okay, so
Cool.
that was my number one.
Good choice.
Number two that I liked, oddly, was Primitive Radio Gods.
That sounds familiar.
They did the Standing Outside a Broken Phone Booth with Money in My Hand. That was
that
the
sounds
one.
familiar
it sounds
too.
familiar too, but I
I
can't
see. I'm not going to be able to sing it, so I'm going to bring it up. You're going to know
I
it.
can
You're
picture
gonna know
like the
it.
video.
You're going to know it immediately. I even have it queued up because I knew everybody would be like, "What's that song?" Oh, it has a weird intro. I've been downhearted, baby.
Oh, there's something.
yeah.
That was that whole era. That was alternative. That was when, yes.
Yes. Okay. So I listened to that album too. Ups and downs, but overall, I think it's worth a listen.
Okay.
Okay. And then I had a hesitation, but I will tell you what I finally went with. I went with the Toadies.
Oh,
They sang Possum Kingdom.
yeah.
Do you guys know? All right.
I don't think I know that.
You will know
I
that.
love that song.
I know, right?
I don't think I know that one. Was that late 90s when I was no longer listening to?
Yeah.
I need words.
Gonna lie.
I
I'll
promise
be your gentleman.
Right.
I
will treat you well.
All right, I'm gonna have to listen to these.
So help me, Jesus. Yeah. Yeah. Because you have to count. It's two different time signatures.
His voice kind of sounds like Michael Hutchins.
So great song.
I've never heard that song.
I don't think I
Was that late 90s? It had to have been. That
Yeah.
must have
And-
been
and
when I
that-
was no
that-
longer listening.
The album, again, had some ups and downs, but what I really liked about the album, which I did not expect from that one hit wonder, was they're really sort of a cross between grunge and speed metal.
really.
I know, right? So I'm not going to say it's a pleasant album to like. I
But it's
enjoyed it. I
interesting.
liked it, but it was
I'm
very
intrigued.
right. It was right. It was
Okay.
intriguing.
Yeah.
So those would be my three: the Macy Gray, On How Life Is, Primitive Radio Gods, Rocket, and then Toadies. The album's called Rubberneck, and then Possum Kingdom was the. But
Did you have any others that you considered?
I
or
had
you thought
others I
about?
considered.
Like, what were the songs like that the albums didn't make the cut?
So I considered OMC. How bizarre! How bizarre!
Oh, how bizarre.
Not
Dun,
because
dun, dun.
I liked that song,
Yeah.
but I thought, well, at least I can listen to the album, and the album wasn't bad.
Oh, really? Okay.
But it just didn't have like on those other three albums. I could pick at least one or two other songs that I was
That you
like,
would listen to.
that's a good song.
Oh, really?
The OMC album, none of them were bad, but it wasn't like that's another awesome song. So that's I put them on the wayside. And then I wanted Extreme.
Oh yeah, that's a good song.
More Than Words.
Yeah.
I wanted that
Oh.
album to be
That's
Good.
not, they
Was it
didn't
not?
have a one-hit wonder. They had
Pornography and
You might be thinking Mr.
More Than Words, and then they had, was that Wholehearted?
no. Did they
That's-
do this? Is that
Was that them or was that Mr. Big?
that was Mr. Big who did Wholehearted?
Oh.
They sound very
Same
similar.
sound.
Yeah.
Right.
So an Extreme again wasn't bad. They had a hair band vibe, which is enjoyable.
I had a hair band on my list that I didn't choose, but
but it wasn't
it?
like
Oh.
a different hair band vibe. It was just like, oh, that's a hair band vibe. It wasn't like, oh,
like you took some hairband.
Right.
And did
That's why I
something
took
cool
my- I
with
didn't
it.
choose mine.
Yeah.
Wait till we do the genres,
Right.
man. I'm like thinking about all these
Yeah,
like, White
there's-
Snake and
Well, so I had
So many fun
Jafria, who has Call to Your Heart on there, but the rest of their songs sounded just like all the hair bands. You know, the ballad and then
Yeah, there's the ballad, the big ballad.
And then the last one I considered was House of Pain, Jump Around.
I love that song.
Jump Around, right?
That's
And I was like,
yeah.
okay. So again, album wasn't terrible. It had a very Beastie Boys influenced kind of rap sound.
I want to
It's a great
dance.
song.
But so I thought, oh, I'm going to like this. But they say their name a lot in all of their songs.
They
Like they
do?
say House of Pain like 5,000 times.
yeah.
It's a marketing thing.
That was the thing with hip hop people back then.
Yeah.
is that you say your name a lot.
And it was sort of like,
Crisscross is gonna make you jump.
Yeah,
jump.
Crisscross.
They would say the
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
so
that's true.
it got to be a little much, but I'm not, again, it was at least interesting, but I'm going to stick with my three, the Macy Gray, Primitive Radio Gods, and Toadies. I think, and they're all very, very different.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So
I
what
can't
we-
wait to listen.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
are we doing now?
So now what we do is,
Christine's going to bed. That's what-
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to,
tired.
Christine's getting up at 5:30.
Ooh.
I'm going to compile the list of
Okay.
everybody's stuff now.
All right.
Now.
No,
Right
not
this
now.
second. She's doing it
now.
as we
Now,
speak.
before we jump into any other rules.
So are we supposed to dwindle? Are we supposed?
See, this is why I
So
said
listen
now.
to the albums of these songs.
But I had
Oh, wait,
five.
so I
should I
need-
break them down
yeah.
to three?
So
Should we
maybe-
decide
I,
amongst
need-
the, like
I
the
would
three?
like you to help me break my list down.
Yeah, let's
Okay,
do
we should
three.
all have
So
three
my-
because that was your rule in the beginning.
So
Well,
We
I-
should stick to that because
If you need more time,
Time is limited, so I want to make sure that I
everybody
can do the homework.
I gotcha. I'm on.
I don't have a whole lot of time to listen.
but that's why
Albums.
that's why I was saying before we got going tonight that maybe we only do a decade a week and
or
do
an
it
album a week.
or an album like
Oh, we could do
because
that.
that'll
yeah.
give people time to listen, not just us, but people who want to play along and have an opinion.
right have an opinion. Yeah.
So if
we love to hear people's opinions.
I mean, it's. I think 3 might be doable in a week's time, but it might not be. What do you guys think? Oh, 1 album a week? Do you want to do pick one decade and listen to all 3 and discuss that decade for the week? What is your, or just one album? I don't want to drag it out too long till it gets
All right,
boring.
so three could be doable.
Okay.
Okay, I can do 3 albums. And if you can't listen to it, pick a couple songs off an album.
You're fired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
The only
At least
thing
get a
is,
sampling of something that
if
wasn't
we
the one
go
hit
in
wonder.
order of decades, I'm out the week of the 80s.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, we won't do it unless we're all here.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
If someone's
they're all
missing, we
here.
will not play the game. We're just going to
Yeah.
left field.
But
things.
it'll be more like a something.
Yeah.
and we don't have to do it every single
We
time.
need a new
'cause-
little.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to play our games
mix
and
it up.
be stupid.
Right. But now, at least now we'll know, everybody will know which songs are supposed to listen to.
I'm expecting big stories from Iowa.
Oh,
Leslie.
are you? Are you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The first. I'm
might
going
have
to Iowa at the end of June.
I might have to recruit your niece to.
Yes.
You know.
She's really fun and she's
She looks
super
fun.
outgoing. She's awesome.
Yeah. Kirsten sent me. Was it Instagram reel?
Yes.
Of-
My niece is
her
a
niece
realtor.
does a little cute things to do in Des Moines
Oh, yeah,
kind
yeah.
of Instagram reel, and she's adorable.
Yeah, she was at a cafe.
I was like, Leo, look, she's really cute. I don't know how old she is, but she's cute.
Oh, she got married last year.
Oh, darn
She's-
it.
She's 28.
Oh, darn it!
Does she have a younger sister?
No, she has 5 brothers. She's a quadruplet.
What?
Yeah, my brother and his wife have quadruplets. They're 28 years old. And
Wow.
Yeah. So she had an older brother and then they had 4. She's one of 4. And then they were like, had a surprise younger brother. So yeah.
Wow.
So she can hold, that girl can hold her own. She takes no crap.
Nice.
She is a strong young lady.
Well, that's okay. I will still at least forward the information to Leo so he
Yeah.
knows what to do in Des Moines. It was very cute.
And she's just a good resource. Like she's connected. She
Right.
knows stuff.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll compile a master list and then let's whittle it down because we haven't whittled it down
Okay.
yet.
So whittling mine down. So kind of the leaderboard. I'll tell you my leaderboard.
I thought you did whittle.
You gave us your leaderboard, and I agree with all those.
Yeah.
But the only thing, Hooked on a Feeling, is okay. My Sharona, Blinded by the Light, Come and Get Your Love, and or Hooked on a Feeling.
So what do you think? What is your gut
What
telling
is
you?
your say? Yeah.
Well,
I would, if I can
yeah.
give an opinion,
Yes, please do.
I would say Come and Get Your Love and Hooked on a Feeling are probably going to have a very similar
They are very similar.
sound.
Yeah. So one thing that I liked about Come and Get Your Love is I kind of did a deep dive. That was a super interesting band.
So
It
then
was
you should
very
do that.
unique.
Then let's pick
yeah,
that
and
one.
that
Do that
kind
and
of
see
put me
how it
over
starts.
Blue Swede.
All right, so let's
I
do
know
those
nothing
three.
about.
I think
Okay.
those three are fantastic.
All right.
Done.
Perfect.
So do you need to whittle yours?
I definitely want to do Tin House. I definitely
House.
want to do them because they were interesting. The other ones I have no. I'm not married to.
What
Well, I
was
like
the-
Green
Green Tambourine was a
That's what I
really
said.
cool.
Yeah.
It's that
Yeah, let's
classic
do-
60s sound.
Okay.
Listen while I play.
It's the only one I've heard of. I think.
Time, which has that. Think of like Steppenwolf carpet ride type of sound.
Okay.
Okay.
Kind of like that.
Okay.
Which is interesting. The other ones I don't know.
Yeah, well then that's three.
That's three right there.
So it's Tin House, Lemon Pipers, and what was the last one?
The Chamber Brothers.
The Chamber Brothers. Okay.
Wait, I didn't. Time has. Oh yeah, it's Tame.
The Chamber
Green
Brothers
Tambourine.
sounds like it's from it's a lot older.
Like the Andrews sisters,
Exactly. The Andrews sisters
the
and
Mandrell sisters.
the Chambers Brothers.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right. So now we know what songs are out. I'll make a master list and we can
listen.
Yay.
start listing. What decade do you guys want to start with? Are we going to go
Should we
60s?
go in
Should we
order?
start in order?
Start from the beginning.
All right.
Aaron,
so
you're on.
yes. So I think this is less stressful.
Yes. Yeah. I agree.
All right, I'll cue that. I'm excited. Cue that
right?
up
Feel
on my
that?
phone, and that'll
All
be
right.
what I listen to on Monday and Tuesday.
Feel so much better.
All right. So for the
Listening
audience,
assignments.
if you want to listen and play along, for now we're not saying we're going to do it next
No, you're gonna be gone.
because I'm going to be gone and then Christine's going to be gone.
I'm
so
probably gone.
We'll get to it
We'll
eventually.
get to it. We'll let
Just
you know.
let you know.
Ahead of time.
Thank you for
that
coming
it's
along in
the
this
plan.
adventure tonight as we
Right.
figured out.
exactly.
Yeah.
All these the real professionals figure this out off the air.
right.
We just do it
Which
on
is
the
why
air.
you all listen
do
to
it.
us.
That's right.
Yes.
You're along for the journey.
That's right.
Yeah, you're part of
the creative
You're part
process.
of the process for sure.
Dude, we have to stop doing that.
I know. Yeah, it's weird. It's getting weird. Yeah.
We keep saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Kirsten and I at the same time.
At the same
Yeah.
time. Jinx,
It's
Peach
what,
Poke,
it's
Yo-Yo
what goes
Coke.
on at this side of the table.
That's right.
So
We're in tune. So for the if you want to listen along, it's the Lemon Pipers, Green Tambourine, Tin House, Slipping and Sliding, and the Chamber Brothers. Time Has Come.
and we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yes.
Yeah, because we're going to discuss what
Send
we
us an
think,
email.
and whether or not these bands deserve more than a one hit.
Yes, indeed.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Wow. We actually worked something out.
I know.
I'm sort of like stunned into silence. I don't know.
How did we get here?
How we don't do this.
Well, now that's not entirely true because we had the other game all together too.
We did.
So
We're
I
getting
Can
better.
whip things up pretty.
We sure can.
think we're kind of wrapping it up. I had one quick thing.
Okay.
Sure. Oh, she's digging for something and throwing things.
Oh, yes.
So
We have a shirt.
It's a follow-up.
well,
follow-up.
actually, no, this is a follow up from Saturday. So we went out on Saturday night. Aaron could not join us, but I have been shopping online.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that we talked about this Saturday. I thought this.
Yeah,
we
no,
talked-
this was not. And we thought that would be a good podcast story. So there's this website. It's called DHgate, where you can order products directly from China. And apparently, like the whole thing all over TikTok is that some of these things are the real. You know, you could get a real Louis Vuitton or a Prada bag or whatever. And I guess that the manufacturers, even some of these designers in Italy and Milan, they're actually made in China, and they slap the labels on in Italy and Milan. So people have been spilling the tea that, okay, these factories make these brands, or these are the factories that make Nikes.
Gotcha.
And there's this website that you can buy direct, and you're supposed to like do your research and know exactly what you're getting, which I did not. I was just like, I want to see, I just want to
See what happens.
see what happens. I'm like, it's not a lot of money, and I didn't get tariffed on it, thank God. But I ordered these before that. But anyway, so I ordered this sweater. I thought it looked like a cute little sweater. It's a black cardigan, had a plain gold heart on it.
On the
We've heard the story
Yes.
already.
And
right
okay.
chest.
And I wish so.
Oh, you've heard this story already?
Well,
she
you
told
should
us
have come
about
out
it.
with us Saturday when Sean was here.
Okay. All right. I wish this isn't the best. You may have to cut this out, but okay. The sweater. It has
really does have
googly eyes.
Oh, you know what that is? That's a particular artist.
It is? Is it?
Yes.
Is this cooler than I think it is?
Don't take the eyes off.
Who is it?
It's cooler than you think it is.
I am a
I will look it
woman
up.
in my 50s with a sweater with eyes on it.
Well, the heart has eyes on it, yes. But when you said googly eyes, I
thought it was like
they
the
were the
plastic.
plastic,
Oh, yeah.
like googly
Me too.
eyes.
No, but there's eyes on my sweater. Like,
So-
I feel like this would be an age-appropriate sweater if it didn't have eyes
No,
on it.
that's an artist, and that's what he does. They sell some of his stuff at like
That looks
Uniqlo.
like a
Do you know?
crocodile's
Yeah.
mouth.
Oh, I know Uniqlo.
You know Uniqlo.
So do you think this is a better sweater than I think it is?
I think it's a better sweater than you think it
Okay.
is.
You have a Louis Vuitton right there.
So I'm glad you
not a
haven't.
Louis
I'm
Vuitton.
glad you didn't bring the seam ripper.
Yeah. Anyway.
Because-
I'll keep that seam ripper in its
I was
drawer.
like, I am a grown-ass woman. I
Now
don't think
it
I
makes
should have
sense why you
eyes
guys
on
were
my
talking
well, now
sweater.
you
Yeah.
should.
Wait, yeah, Aaron was in the dark.
Seam ripper. What
This
the
is why
hell
you
would-
need. Okay, so
What is going on?
So Christine said she'd
Okay,
bring
now
her
it-
so she could
it
take the
makes-
eyes off.
It's all coming
Okay.
together now,
I'm
people.
feeling better about my sweater.
No.
I'm just as lost as you are.
So when you wear it out and people look at you like you're crazy, you just have to say, this is much better than you think it is.
Right. This is so cool that you just don't understand.
So-
You
it.
don't even
And neither
know.
do I.
I'm probably not going to be able to find the artist
Okay.
before we leave tonight, but I will find
Okay,
it
find it and send it.
and I will let you know who it is because that's actually cool.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Yes.
I'm in.
Okay.
So
All right.
do they just do clothes or do they do art?
They do all kinds of stuff. They
So-
do clothes, bags. Oh, I bet a ridiculous pair of sunglasses. Oh, I got a knockoff two knockoff Kendra Scott necklaces, or they might be real. I don't know. They look
Or they
nice.
might be real.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what golden gooses are?
The shoes?
The shoes.
The very expensive shoes.
Extremely expensive shoes that look like
They look like-
they're beat up on purpose.
they look like they're like 20 years old.
Yeah, and they draw on them. Like you can go
Yeah.
if you go into the Golden Goose store, not only you pick a pair of distressed shoes and then you can have the artist in the store like draw stuff on it and write stuff on the shoes. Because Ava was like, "Mom, you should do that. Like, you should do that as a job." And then I was like, "No, no.
Oh,
I'm
the
sorry.
Golden Goose
I
artist.
won't be party to this ridiculousness."
I didn't know about that.
And they charge you.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's
There's like $650 for a
for
pair
a
of
pair
sneakers.
of they look like Keds.
Because
But
they're
like
one of a
beat up
kind
heads.
because somebody drew on them?
Right.
Yeah.
They're original art
Are they real
interpretations.
artists or are they people like,
No, they're like me.
You absolutely should do that.
And
probably
and
very
so
lucrative.
it probably is. It's probably not bad. But Ava
I feel like you'd
ordered
be good at it.
Ava ordered a pair of golden gooses from one of these Chinese
right.
websites
Yeah.
that
So-
were like $40.
Well, that's yeah.
And she was like, "Well, they're fake." And I was like, "Well, how would anybody know that they're fake anyway?" Blah blah blah. So these shoes come, they weren't fake.
Oh, really? Well, that's what they say.
They
like
were
that's
real.
about this.
How do
I mean,
you know
have
that?
to know which ones to order, but some of them are real. It's just that you don't know.
There are certain aspects to the shoes that you like the way they're put together and the trim and things like that let you know that they're real and not fake. But yeah, they're ridiculous.
Yeah, but those shoes should be $40 and not
Yes, they should be
$650.
$450. But I think part of it,
Yeah.
I think that no one else, there's no two pair alike.
Right. So
Is the
you're
whole
paying
point.
for the uniqueness.
I still think it's ridiculous.
Here's
Anyway.
hoping there's no 2 of that sweater.
I hope not. I don't even know how I feel about there being one of that sweater.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. All
It's
right.
got a charm to it.
It's quirky.
It is quirky.
Yeah.
I will find this artist. All right. I'm not going to be able to, I don't have time to find it out, but I'll
Okay.
find this artist.
All right.
Okay. Well,
All right. On that note.
so we funky facts and a game. We're all set.
All right.
All right. Thank
right.
you all for joining us for the latest set list of life. Good night.
night.
Good night.